Well, golly gee Willikers, Batman. Guys, welcome back to the show. I am so excited to have you guys here. Thank you to everybody who watched last week with Miss Cassie Staffanak. And that was a great episode. We had so much fun talking about all kinds of really cool haunted places that she wants to hit as she is getting her YouTube channel underway. And something pretty incredible happened in the comments. Some guys popped in that are actually going to be on the show here tonight, and I guess they want to hook up with Cassie, which is fantastic. But these guys reached out to me, and after watching a bunch of their stuff, guys, I got to tell you, I'm freaking blown away. I am blown, like some holy grail places. Shocked, amazed. Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just, I could keep yammering on, but let's just go ahead and bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny and Jordan from the Paranormies. What's going on, dudes?
What's going on? Glad to be here.
I'm seriously blown away. This is awesome because you guys have blown up, huge, over just. I mean, you guys have been on Nukes a couple times. You guys have been shown several places with some insane stuff.
Yeah, this last month has been really good for us and the channel. I mean, we got a lot of new people in the family, and I mean, getting that barn and getting that brought to our attention, that's probably been one of the greatest things for the channel.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. It's crazy that literally just fell into your lap like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes that's the thing is sometimes, especially being in a small community, when people start hearing about it and then they have a place that we had heard about that area of town being kind of haunted and creepy, but had no real idea that house was there until we had somebody bring it to our attention. So that's been such a huge blessing. We do want to go back, but we're going to have to wait a little while because now there's a ton of people flocking to that spot.
The location kind of got out. I remember there was one guy in the YouTube comments, like he knew the address and everybody wondering. He just replied to every single comment. Yeah. So the last thing we want to be doing is another investigation there, and people are showing up if we go on a Saturday night or something like that. So
yeah, I've been kind of doing a thing in my videos, and you guys, if you watch this back, you'll actually notice all of my locations for my videos are either your mom's house or Omicron Persei 8, which is a reference to Futurama. Just because, like, if it's someplace I don't want nobody to know about, I'm like, you guys can enjoy the joke, but this is all you're getting.
Yeah.
So real quick, let's say hi to some people. We've got Nikki in the house. Nikki, how's it going? My good friend Zach from Rooted Expeditions in the house. My good buddy Dan Tex is here. How's it going?
Hey, it's our boy.
Yeah. Also, I'm excited. Yeah, like he is the literal definition of paranormal unity in one person.
Oh yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Of
course,
having something like that in the community where they. I mean, not only just watch everybody's content, support it, and then push it. You know, it's so awesome.
Oh yeah.
And he's always looking for. When did he find us? When we had like 400 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like we had like 400 subscribers, and I see him doing the same thing to other people who have like just starting out with like 100 subscribers or even less. Sometimes he's always trying to push like new creators and stuff like that, which is it's amazing for the community. So thank you, Dan Tex. We love everything that you do.
Absolutely. And of course, somebody that we all know and love, our dear friend Cassie. How's it going, Cass?
What's up, Cassie?
And here's a special one. She hates it when I do the shout outs, but this is a special day for her. Alyssa's Haunted Adventures. For those of you guys who don't know, this is my investigation partner's 11-year-old daughter who just put out her first investigation video today.
Wow. I was actually looking for it today. I couldn't find it. So I was going to ask you too, if you could put a link out, and then I wanted to go check it out.
Absolutely. I will shoot you guys a link in your Instagram so you guys can check that out. Really great stuff. Our good friend Selena is in the house, another one of those that supports everybody.
Yeah.
We've got Laura in the house. God, we got so many people here. Let's see who else has popped in that I have missed. I hope I haven't missed. Oh, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Crove Judas is in the house.
How's it going?
What's up, dude?
Love that guy. Keisha, how's it going, Keisha? We all know and love Keisha. And then there's some other very special people that popped in. I gotta find. There's so many comments. Tippa TV, how's it going? Love those guys so much.
Oh, yeah, man, yeah.
They're coming out. We are gonna do an investigation together in May. Super excited about that.
Posted on that.
And, oh yeah, I'm so stoked because we're gonna take them to. I haven't released the videos yet, but we found a location that absolutely blew us away just investigating it. But also some very special guests that are visiting here, and I love these guys so much. Cody and Sean from the New Reality. How's it going?
Matty Mullen.
Right here.
Right away. That's awesome. How's it going?
Yeah, we got Ashley Brady in the house.
I wanna
Kim
tell
in
that story,
Minnesota.
actually.
Yeah, go
Matty
ahead.
Mullen's
Yeah.
one. Okay, so
Yeah,
what happened was the first time I think I reached out to them and just said, "Hey, how's it going, you guys?" And I saw them on a Haunted Side video, and I wanted to reach out to them and say hi and all that kind of stuff. And then the one thing he says, he's like, "This guy looks exactly like Matty Mullins." And then
From Memphis Mayfire.
from
Yeah.
Memphis Mayfire, and then him and his band actually opened for Memphis Mayfire like
That's
a year
hysterical.
prior to this. So,
Yeah.
and then they had a picture together, so I sent it to them, and they're just dying laughing.
Yeah.
They look like the same person standing side by side.
That's crazy, dude. That is
Yeah.
crazy. That's awesome that you were able to open for your doppelganger, though. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes people don't even meet their doppelganger, never mind open for them in a band in a concert.
All right, two more people that we want to say hi to. Three Souls Paranormal. They're a new member of the Sparks of the Paranormal family. Thank you, guys. And then the other half of the New Reality, ladies and gentlemen, Mountain Man Medium Show.
What's going on, dude?
We got so many people in the house. This is fantastic. But I want to dive right into the good stuff. So, how did each of you get into the world of the paranormal? Was it an experience? Was it obsession? Was it, I'm a skeptic, I'm going to prove this stuff isn't happening? Like, how did it go down for you?
Well, I mean, you can start with that because he got me into it, really.
Yeah. Okay. So mine is from a long time ago. There's a story to it. So the story is I can go deep into it. How deep do you want to go into it?
As deep as you want to go, brother.
Okay. So this I've never shared. I have shared it with people, but not since we started doing Paranormies. But it goes deep and it kind of leads into my first experience. So my uncle used to practice satanic stuff in my grandparents' house just casually, but he used to practice it in my grandparents' house when this would have been when we were me and my brothers were probably maybe 2 or 3, even probably still before we were even born. He was doing it, and he'd have it in his room, and then he would put he'd do the whole candles in the pentagram and everything, and he had a stuffed raccoon that he used to talk to, and people in the family would hear him communicating to it in his room. And it just got so crazy. And he had so many experiences. My mom had so many experiences, just living in the same house as him. And then having to one time sleep in his room while her room was getting renovated. And she said that she heard, there was all her boxes in her room from all her stuff that was in her room that they just had in storage while they were painting and doing all that. And one night she was sleeping in there and she said, she heard footsteps run up one side of the wall, across the ceiling, down the other side, and the boxes went flying across the room. Huh. So now fast forward to when we were probably 7 years old, right outside his bedroom door, my grandpa had a pool table, and me and my older brother were sitting underneath it, and we heard a scream. It sounded just like a woman screaming, and then an animal growling from inside the room, and we both ran up the stairs. But it was the weirdest thing because as soon as we got up the stairs, which would have been 3 seconds, 4 seconds later, my grandma was already waiting at the top of the stairs for us as if she heard it too. And I've never talked to my grandma about it or anything. I should, but I haven't yet. But then, like,
didn't you say like years later you kind of confirmed that story with somebody else just to make sure?
With my older brother Nick,
Okay.
I asked him finally. I was like, "Did this actually happen?" He's like, "Yeah, it did." He's like, "I remember that story too." So after that, then it was just kind of like I kind of want to understand a bit more about it, and that's kind of what it started for me.
Yeah, and then we met in high school about, I guess, 12 years ago, and one thing that we would do, because like there wasn't really much for us to do on weekends and stuff like that, was we would just kind of like drive by the local haunted places like around Winnipeg in our hometown. And I remember there was one time we were outside this place called the Macbeth House with one of our friends, and we waited out there for about an hour. And I think we just looked at the house. We just stared at it, just expecting something to happen, right? And then all three of us at the same time saw there was nobody in the house, and then we all saw like a shadow move across the window all at the same time. And we freaked out and we just bolted.
Yeah, because it was kind of turned into an event center because nobody wanted to buy the house. So they just turned into a elderly event center of some sort. And then, so there was exit signs in the house. And I'm pretty sure we saw like something walk past one of the exit signs. And then, yeah, we all freaked.
Yeah.
That's freaking nuts.
And we are going to be going to that place as well too.
Yeah, we do have permission to actually stay the night in that place, but they're waiting for the COVID restrictions to kind of die down a little bit. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
To have like one of the first places that you guys had, like your first experience, like together.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a big one for us.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's gonna be nuts. Like that would be like, because I had my first experience when I was 7. That would be like going back to my grandmother's house just to see if I could contact her. You know what I mean? Because like that was my first experience, was seeing my grandmother like 2 hours after she died, sitting in her recliner. Like that's like the holy grail, to be able to go back and like relive that moment.
Exactly. Yeah. Going back to a place that you had an experience that kind of is stuck. I always look at like there's reasons that these things are stuck in our memory. Like the one in my grandparents' house. Like if that was like, some people might say, skeptics might say it was a dream of some sort. Well, I mean, I've had millions of dreams. Why would that one stick out so much more than anything else? It wasn't.
Plus, like 2 other people corroborated that
exactly
in real life.
So that's one thing. I've looked into trying to get permission to go back to that house, but I don't think there's any way we're going to be able to do it with new owners and everything. I've almost several times went and knocked on the door and just, can I stay in your house for the night? It'll be real casual. Just bring a Ouija board. Yeah. Just bring a Ouija board in for the night. You won't even know we're here.
Don't worry about it. We're contacting the demon that's already here. Just don't worry about it.
Exactly.
So that is freaking fantastic. I love the fact that you just kind of hopped in along for the ride, and you guys are where you are now. This is awesome. Because you just said it, a month ago you guys were still kind of small.
Yeah.
And then
I think a month ago we hit the 1,000 where we could monetize it.
Yeah, I can tell you the exact, because I make Instagram posts like for all of our milestones, and I can see exactly when I posted 1,000.
And it wasn't that long ago, and all of a sudden it was just honestly like with Sir Spooks and Nukes, and kind of just becoming friends with them and them just asking if they could post it. That's really helped. And that's another thing is, when I spoke with the New Reality, they said that's a way that helped them launch them too, is just those guys being able to get you in front of the people that want to see this kind of stuff. Like it's sometimes just the way YouTube works. It takes a long time to get you in front of the people that want to, follow you and see what you're doing.
Well, it was frustrating too, because for the longest time, like there were a few videos there where we kind of started hitting our stride a little bit in terms of the quality of content and everything. And all of our analytics looked good, but our growth was still about the same. So that was frustrating. But we were lucky enough to have a lot of our followers at the time send a clip to, well, they sent it to everyone, but it was Sir Spooks who ended up giving us our first feature. And that's when the things started to kind of snowball and we started to see a lot more growth.
Yeah, and we struggled for a while too with just kind of finding out, like, do we want to add music? Do we not want to add music? Do we want to give backstories? Do people care? Do people not care? Do they just want to, go and, watch your investigation? And then we kind of found that people do want to hear like how we found this place, how it came to us, what the story is, that like the eyewitness of their experience, and everything. So then that took a while, and and then we had to just watch to see what people wanted, and it just took a lot of kind of studying and
trial and error.
seeing what people wanted to see with how we would kind of continue. And now we found our spot with doing our dialogue scenes and talking about what, how it got to us and the story of the place. And I mean, that does, like, thinking back now, like, it's funny we even thought about that, because it's cool seeing, like, for us, when we're hearing the story of the people that are telling it to us, even if they don't want to be on camera, it's still engaging to us to hear these the stories that they're telling. So it's kind of cool to pass that forward too.
And that's a huge thing. Like, for me, at least, is the fact that, yes, what we do in the paranormal world could be considered entertainment, but 100% of what we're actually doing is storytelling.
Exactly.
Telling the stories of the people that can no longer tell their story.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is it being such a taboo subject too. Like, not everybody wants to be on camera sharing. Like, we do try and push people to be on camera. And I'm hoping that I mean, it's cool how you see people like Twin Paranormal, they get people to go on camera all the time and tell their stories. It's harder when you're not at the same level, and especially it was really hard to find those kind of people when we were sitting at 200-300 subsubscribers, because I don't know,
just nobody's like, who's really gonna like sit down?
They didn't want us to tell who they were and stuff, especially because most of the people who were following us were from our hometown, which they were too. So they know it's the first people that are going to see it are the people that they see every day.
Yeah, and that's very difficult, especially being a small channel. But it's fantastic. I love the way that you guys do your content. By the way, I love those little blurbs that you guys throw in there with you guys just sitting down and talking. I love that. You guys have your expression, the way you express your stories is beautiful. I love to watch it. You guys are doing a phenomenal job, man.
Yeah, that means a lot.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because that takes a whole lot of extra time and effort to do those scenes, but we think it's well worth it just for the quality of our videos.
And that cabin that we film in too, that cabin's like 45 minutes away, so we always have to try. But it's nice being. It's kind of nice for us too. At the end of the day, get to go to the cabin and sit and make a fire there and stuff. But then we sit and then we tell the stories and then end up having a beer or two and then going home. But it's still an extra full, 4 or 5 hours, especially with the driving and stuff, to do that. But we like it. It just kind of the extra effort to do it.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and you guys have hit some absolutely insane spots. By the way, the first one that I want to talk about is that hunting cabin that you guys came across.
Yeah, that was our first episode,
bro. Like
that, we want to go back to that place. The only thing is, it's in a swamp.
Yeah.
So we can't drive there. You can only drive there. Basically, we went there towards the end of winter.
Well, it was like beginning of winter.
Yeah, beginning of winter. So we could drive there then because the roads were already hard. Being in Canada, like, everything freezes over. So then in spring, like right now, it'll just be totally covered in water and you can't even get there by a vehicle.
But yeah, we would love to do that place again and do it in the style that we do videos now and really give it like a 5-minute kind of intro, kind of like how we do now.
Because there's been a lot more people, especially like telling us that they've been there and telling us stories. So we do have a lot more information that we can give about it, and we do want to stay there for a night yet too.
Yeah, but still, it's too cold for that right now.
But the great thing about that is the fact that you literally can revisit that, 1.5-2 years later at this point, and go, this was our first video. Let's see if we can blow ourselves out of the water. Let's see what else we can get going, because that's a fantastic opportunity, and I really want to see that, and I know a lot of people do. Like you were saying, that would be really awesome. When you guys were walking back into that kitchen and a piece of that glass just fell out of the cabinet and just shattered all over the ground, like.
Yeah.
What?
That freaked me out. That was crazy.
That, and I mean that too. Another thing that was going on was that baby kept going off, and we know that the baby going off can be
pretty easily debunked.
It can be easily debunked. There's one small spot in there where Jordan was kind of around the corner and it went off. So then we've had people that kind of maybe gave us a really good answer on it. It could be our lights that do it.
Yeah.
But we've gone to places that we don't even have we don't even have them the investigations on the channel anymore. But I've walked into the room with it and walked around, was shining my light right in its face, and it wouldn't go off. And then when I turned to walk away, all of a sudden it would go off.
Yeah, actually, what happened was like sometimes we mess with each other a little bit just to like keep each other on our toes. And I actually set that up like around a corner so that when he would walk by, it would go off and freak him out.
Yeah.
But when he walked right in front of it, shone his light on it and everything, and it didn't do anything until he left the room.
Yeah, then that was weird. So that doll has a mind of its own.
Yeah, so just a minor note about the doll. Screw that doll. I have an issue with dolls. And the fact that thing cries when something moves in front of it is horrifying.
Oh,
like that's scarier than anything paranormal that you're gonna catch. Is a freaking baby doll crying.
Yeah.
Like the first video I watched.
We haven't used her in a while, but we were thinking about bringing her back just because it is so terrifying. It just works well in a video. We actually put her on our merch. We have we have t-shirts and we have tanks with like animated versions of her on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love your merch, by the way. You guys are doing great work with that too. That's fantastic.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
But let's talk about another creepy moment with that doll real quick. Let's talk about the Hangman's Church.
Oh yeah.
The perfect place to bring it.
Mm-hmm.
But B, screw that baby doll. So
that I know which one you're talking about, and that was when we were way up on the balcony, right?
Yes.
That one makes no sense to me. I still don't understand that. It was facing the other direction too.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't a light source, I don't know. Because it's a doll that we got from I think we got it from Walmart. Like there's no way a Walmart doll is gonna have those kind of senses. We were like 150, 200 feet away.
Yeah, and you guys were upstairs at the other end of the church.
On the second level, too.
Yeah. It's just, meh. And I'm like, nah, hell no. Hell no.
Even when we found the ladder was tipped over and we ran away, it wasn't even facing the way we were running. Like, we ran the other way, and by the time we were halfway across the church, it was behind that wall.
Yeah.
By where the ladder was. We were already across the church, and it went off somehow, too.
It's just... that thing creeps me out. And the fact that it is potentially catching paranormal activity, that's kind of cool, but the circumstances surrounding a lot of, I love paranormal activity. I'm putting the words out there. I'm trying to get them out and form them into a sentence right now, and it's difficult. But I love it because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Nothing that we experience in the field that is paranormal wise makes sense. And the fact that you guys are able, at least in that first episode with what we're talking about with the ladder being flipped over and stuff like that, none of what happened makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It can only be explained by the fact that it is unexplainable.
Mm-hmm. That church, I mean, just especially getting all that information from that we got for part 2.
Mm-hmm.
It was even crazier hearing that. And then even when we got the EVP I listened to it 100 times and I thought it said El Faro, and somebody mentioned to us that it sounded like a farmer. And then it's like, that makes way more sense. I wish I would have known that. Like, it just makes so much more sense. So next time we go back, I want to see it. I mean, if there's an actual farmer there, like if there's a farmer,
would be crazy,
man. Like, because like we told the story, there's like so much death and so much crazy stuff happened in that town. It could be like any number of things.
Oh yeah.
A farmer, whatever else.
Yeah. I doubt the farmer was the one that tried to take the beanie off of your head, though.
No. I mean, I thought maybe looking at it was like maybe one of the children who died that was like, playing games or something like that. But somebody in the comments like they speculate that children don't get left behind or whatever. So I don't know. That's one answer that we haven't really found out. I don't know if we'll ever figure it out, but
yeah, I'm not necessarily in agreement with the fact that children don't get left behind. I've had experiences with children that I know are children and are not something that is, shall we say, I don't want to use the D word, but demonic. Because not everything is demonic for everybody at home and people that are in the chat now and people that are watching later. Not everything is demonic. I'm going to say it one more time. Not everything is demonic. But I do believe that children do get left behind, but I don't think that that was a child, because the way it was being taken off of your head was way more violent than it was playful.
Yeah.
I would
it's
agree with that.
It's the same, like you're saying, it's not demonic, and I agree. And going to like the table flipping, everybody that's common says that has to be demonic. I don't like we've talked about it. And we think it's very dark, but we also kind of like now are thinking, what if it is an abusive cycle? You know what I mean? Like
oh yeah,
said, spiritual warfare. What if it was an abusive husband? You know, and there's a wife trap there too. Like we're kind of leaning towards it could be that. Everybody says that kind of force has to be demonic. I don't think it does.
It doesn't have, because like you said, not everything is demonic. Like a spirit can be malevolent without being demonic.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I say is that when it comes down to talking about negative spirits and people saying, well, there's no such thing as a negative spirit, there's only such thing as a demon. Well, the truth of the matter is the fact that dead people are spirits, right? Mm-hmm. They were once living and now they're not. Mm-hmm. And they take on the attributes that they did when they were alive. So dick in life, dick in death. Mm-hmm. That's just the way it is.
Exactly.
Very true.
Exactly.
So that 100%. Yeah, that farmhouse though, guys. Woo!
That is unbelievable. And right towards the end, we found another area. Like we can, we didn't go up there. We're out of there. But it looks like you can get up on top of the barn, and there's a second level there. But it was already, like we said, it was like coming on 4:35 in the morning by the time that happened.
It was really late. We were really cold, so
yeah, we decided we're going to save that. Yeah, but we do 100%. We're going to go back there once it kind of dies down, because, like you said, if people come there and mess with us, then we don't know what's real and what's not.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Especially like investigating with new people or something like that. Like we've been to a location and we've had people like walk up, and we were in a tunnel and they wanted to walk through the tunnel. I'm like, I've got to stop everything that I'm doing right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have to wait for them to leave.
Yep.
And I don't know how long this is going to take.
We have some of that in one of our videos, actually. I think it was the video before the Sinister Farms Hespler house. Mm-hmm. And somebody actually drove up and like was flashing their lights and honking and stuff like that. So, and we did, and we just kept it rolling. We just kept it in the video. Like this is what we deal with sometimes.
They came, another vehicle came, a different vehicle. That one looked like a truck. The other one was like a small red car. And we got to actually see it because it drove up, almost hit my truck, pretty much drifted around and then turned around and just gunned it.
Yeah, gunned it back down the like mile-long driveway that it was.
That's irritating.
Yeah, super irritating. I mean, we kind of blame ourselves because we had posted that day where we were going to be, and we didn't.
Kind of our fault.
Yeah, we didn't realize that people were actually going to show up or do something. Yeah, we just were trying to give an update, and then and there's people there.
Yeah, there's so much that goes into paranormal investigating. What are some of your favorite pieces of equipment that you like to use?
Mine would be, I mean, we've been using the SLS kind of like ghost tube thing, and we're just can't get behind apps. Like we tried using Necrophonic, and we do find that it was a little creepy at certain times, but we've had a lot of people say, we've had certain people say that it's like, give us kind of the way that their theory on how it works. And if that works for them 100%, for me, I can't fully get behind it. So
but that's all speculation, like anything in the paranormal field. Right. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. If people find that it works for them, we used it. We got some creepy responses. We might not use it again. We might use it again.
I do want to test it a little. I do want to test Necrophonic a little further and do certain things like turn our phones on airplane mode, turn everything, off. Don't say anything, just listen. Maybe ask questions where Jordan's in like the barn and I'm in the house, and just see if what he's saying would work, and we can kind of figure that out later with what his questions were and stuff. So I want to really test it out before we write it off. But again, we feel like it's a loop, and they just, because Jordan made a pretty good comment. He's like, what happens if Necrophonic had to all of a sudden update? Why would
Yeah.
something like that have to update, Or it's
Yeah.
just kind of strange because it doesn't really work off radio waves. It's just
it's an actual sound bank, right? And then it's like, I guess the theory is somehow the spirits can use the sound bank in Necrophonic on your phone to, I don't know, like they go in there and choose the word that, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kinda weird.
I've used it a couple times. It is very interesting. I will say that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
We've used it for an Estes method and got some very surprising stuff.
Mhm.
And I've even what made me a believer with it was the fact that one day we were doing an investigation and my biological father's voice came through.
Really?
Wow.
And I was blown away.
See, in a
That would
moment
be
like
pretty
that,
mind-blowing,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the thing is like that's kind of what we had set out to do, was to test things, like, and to see if this kind of stuff is real. And that's kind of where whether we believe it or not, we're still willing to try and test it and to see, because that's
Exactly.
essentially why we started doing things, to test every
That's
avenue.
what the paranormal is.
But for me, I
Nothing
do
is
really
proven.
like the SLS cams. I find obvious. There's obvious points where you can see if it's mapping a chair, but then when it's on a blank wall, it's just like, how is it mapping something there? So we do have an SLS camera coming from Australia. So we're gonna.
Well, like in a perfect example of you guys using the SLS, even the app, was catching that figure inside of the window pane. And I mean, like,
that was strange. Yeah, that was super weird to me, because I would have thought if it was catching the window, it would map the frame itself.
the whole window.
Yeah.
That was crazy. It was crazy.
And then upstairs too, right underneath the window, where we had sat for, what was it, 15? Like, we sat there after the table flipped, and Jordan felt super safe there. He could have sat there the whole night, and there was another person there. So that's kind of what we thought. Like, did something run down the stairs, flip the table, and now this other spirit was like
kind of just hiding up there, like with us.
And is that why we felt comfortable there? So like, it's things like that it's just so strange. Like, it's just too strange.
And like I said, that's what all of this is. That's what the paranormal is it's trying to understand something that almost can't be understood.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. But that farmhouse, and then going into the barn, with that box just randomly flying across a massive room side to side, mind blowing.
Hey, and it's super funny, and I'll bring this up, but it's sometimes things like that are so mind blowing that we've had other people try and pick it apart in the funniest way. Like, they're like, "Why would you turn left instead of turning right?"
Like, what would you do in that situation? You've never been in that situation, because you're kind of disoriented. You hear a noise from behind you, and you're like, what is going on? Clearly, like, something got tossed.
And that's why we decided to start doing things in picture in picture. It's like where we do have both camera angles in the picture at the same time, so you can see. It is like it's how it is. It's how it is. It's just so funny to read comments like that. Like, why would you turn? What if I turned the other way? You would get mad at me then.
Yeah.
Well, to me, honestly, I thought that was the best decision was for you to turn right, because that would be going to the place that something would have had to run from if something was there.
Exactly.
Because that's the direction that it came from.
Yeah. Exactly. It's so funny, like, to hear people like it's just the little things like that, that no matter what you do, you're not doing it right. So it's
literally, when you zig, you should have zagged. It's always exactly that way.
Yeah, it's a shame that is the world that we live in. But once again, I have said this before, and I'll say it again. Even if we literally found a way to tangibly get a hold of a spirit and investigate it, someone is going to say, they're going to look at that tangible spirit and say, that's not real.
That's fake. Yeah, exactly. It's just, there will be people that no matter what it is, you just can't, they just don't want to believe, they don't want to believe.
But it's like anything in life, it's like, you can't please everybody. So, just don't even try. We say that all the time. It's like, if pretty much exactly what you said, if like we had like absolutely like 110%, evidence, it's like somebody's going to look at it and they're not going to believe it. And they're just going to,
fake news.
All kinds of crazy stuff about
unless
it.
They have their own experience, which is why we want to start doing nights out with random people that kind of are subscribers in our hometown. or even in
Exactly.
Winnipeg. So we want to take them out too and show them.
That's fantastic. I mean, I love that idea.
Mhm.
So what is your favorite part of investigating? What is it that really like gets your passion flowing when it comes for investigating?
For me, it's 100% the adrenaline rush.
I was going to say that too.
Going into a new place,
Yeah.
and it's the best when there's a really wild story. So like when we went to the Fort Garry, that was a huge one for us because everybody in Canada knows this. Well, maybe not everybody in Canada. Everybody in Winnipeg for sure, but it is, I consider, the most haunted hotel in Canada.
Yeah, it's definitely like even people who aren't into the paranormal here, they know that the Fort Garry Hotel is just notoriously haunted, and people drive by it every day. It's like right by like a major route in Winnipeg, so people know it. They walk by. They drive by, and like the architecture of the building, like you can't
Stands
help
alone from anything else.
It really does. It's such a beautiful and crazy looking building. People see it every day, and they're kind of reminded that that place is haunted.
And going into that place was, I mean, for me personally, like that might have been the most scared I've been to walk into that hotel room. Like, and that's the difference is between that, the story of the farm. It was a newer story to us, so we had heard it. We had like a month or so to think about it and kind of go check it out. That's the Fort Garry has been in my head for a decade. So, and I mean, it wasn't nearly as crazy, but it was still more of a monumental moment kind of for me to go through, to walk through the doors of that hotel room.
It was, because we wanted to do that video as soon as we started the channel, but we knew that we wanted to do that place justice. So that's why we only did it after we kind of felt that we had hit our stride in terms of video quality. And that's when we started doing like those dialogue scenes and stuff like that. But yeah, walking through that door, because like we heard like room 202, everyone who's into the paranormal around here, they know room 202 in Fort Garry Hotel. Then we had the hotel key in my hand, and we walk up to the door, we see room 202. We're like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah.
What's up, Haunted Side?
Hey, how's it going?
It's awesome to have those dudes in here.
Oh man, I've been such a huge fan of them for so long. It's like they are probably for me the biggest reason. Aside from like having my own experiences and everything, like we said, we've done these things on our own, but they're kind of the reason why I kind of came to Jordan, was like, we gotta start making these videos. Like we gotta do it and film it instead of just going out to these places and just doing it for ourselves. I'm like, I kind of want to do it and film it and see what happens. So huge thanks to them. They inspired us, and I know that they inspire so many more people.
They do. They're actually part of the reason why I got out and started investigating myself. Because up until, I don't know, probably December, my show was literally just all audio. Then I switched over to doing the show visually here on YouTube, and I was like, I really want to get out and investigate. And I kept going back to the one episode that I found with them, that I fell in love with, and that was the Clean Water Demon House episode.
Me too. That's my favorite one, and that is the video I watched, and I was like, "Where's the camera in my house? I gotta find a camera right now.
We gotta do this right now."
Get the camera. Went to him, and we're like, "We just got to buy mic packs, and then we're fine. We're good to go." Like we didn't have anything. We didn't have any. I think we had a spirit box and a K2 meter, and
we had Lorraine, our doll.
Yeah, the Lorraine doll, and it was like. I mean, I'd seen that episode so long ago, but I had rewatched it, and it's just such a great episode. I was like, "We're going out." Like, it
hypes you up, dude. It scares the crap out of you, but it hypes you up.
But that's the thing about Pat from the Haunted Side. Like, his energy is kind of like makes you want to go out. It's just you can see how excited he is to do it, and that's kind of how we go into the investigations too. We're just so excited to go in them, and that's kind of
Yeah, no, it's truly fantastic. Like him and Jason, they do such great work.
They do, yeah.
And the fact that what I love about them is the fact that Jason was not a paranormal investigator. He was just running a camera when they started, and now look at him. He's got his own channel.
Cemetery Road too. That's super. I love the concept of that too. Like he was saying, I think in their live yesterday, that while they're going out on investigations, he just wanted to go check out every cemetery along the way. I think that's super cool to do too.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Like about cemeteries that, I mean, of course, it's probably one of the most, it's probably the most famous spot that somebody's going to go check out right away, aside from a hospital or something. But it gives it also doing those kind of videos, and if you capture things, you're not letting, the people that have passed on just be forgotten. You're
Yeah.
letting them still, like, if you catch something, you're giving them a chance to tell something or just show they're still there. And I think that's why a lot of people got emotional about the Fort Garry one.
Yeah.
Because if we were talking to the woman who hung herself, it did seem like it. We don't know, but it did seem like it. And it kind of, she's not forgotten then. Again, more people should do those kind of, the Fort Garry and stuff and keep letting her live on.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, my first investigation, actually 2 investigations that I did, I was in cemeteries. I mean, they're easy to get to for one, and 2, there's so much history. I hit the second investigation that I put up here was let's see, it was the oldest cemetery in the area that I live in here in North Carolina. And I got to tell you, man, walking through there with all of the names of the people that founded this area, that if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have the job that I have. I wouldn't have any of this stuff. And it's just absolutely fantastic to go through. And even if you're not investigating, just to look at the history.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's another, like, kind of a reason, especially where we live, it's very hard to go into the cemeteries and do an investigation. Sorry, because it's very, very religious where we live. There's like 30 churches for such a small town. And
for like 16,000 people.
Yeah. And we've talked about it, and we're like, we don't ever want to come across as disrespectful, especially to people who have passed away. But it's not even if we don't feel we'd be disrespecting if we went there. It's just the people not understanding and judging us for it. And I mean, that's something we'll probably just have to get over. But it's something we've never really decided to do, right? To go into a graveyard. Because of that, like,
we actually had a graveyard in mind, a cemetery in mind. We actually had B-roll shot and everything for the episode, but we never really did the investigation. One, it was hard to get to. It was locked at 5:30, and there was really no other way to get in at night. And then at the same time, it's like you also, I mean, at least I felt I didn't really want to, go in there and start, I didn't want to make anybody feel like I was disrespecting their ancestors or something like that.
Yeah, so it's been, we're just too, like, we try and be humble that way, but it's like we're just maybe need to, like, we didn't want to break in. Obviously, there was a way to just kind of go in, but it's like, are we being disrespectful then if the gate is closed?
Yeah, we didn't want to get in the bad books of the city too if we keep we keep getting caught breaking into places.
Yeah, and we don't ever want to break into a place just to do an investigation. But
no, you shouldn't.
Like, how would you get permission to go and investigate a graveyard if they do lock it up? We don't know how to do that yet.
and that was a huge thing. Is there's a lot of places that, like you said, they gate up. So here in North Carolina, where I live, you have to be out by 8 p.m.
Right.
So when do you go in? Because if you go in too early, people are looking at they're talking to their loved ones.
Exactly.
And you can't go too late, because if you go too late, then you're not getting an investigation and you're not doing your due diligence. And it's a catch-22, man.
Exactly. So it's like, where do you find the right time or and then that's just it. Like, when you're coming in there with camera gear and all this stuff, and we don't have anybody, like any loved ones who are buried there, then it's like, are we being
disrespectful?
Exactly.
Well, the other tricky thing with like graveyards or even outdoor locations is just being exposed to the elements. Like, it wasn't a graveyard, but that Hesper House episode, it just started raining on us pretty much as soon as we got there.
We call the sheriff's office. Okay.
Yeah. We went to the RCMP.
It's funny. It's funny because my stepdad is a cop in the city of Winnipeg, and we've asked him several times, like, can we go to this place? Should we go to that place? Like, what are the guidelines here? And he's like, he's like, I can say go for it, but he's like, we can't get him in trouble either, especially because if we do go to these places, but calling would probably be the best. Calling the RCMP would be the best for us to try and get in there.
I've tried getting in places by calling the sheriff's department, and they are like, well, we have to have knowledge of the person who owns the place in order for that to happen. I'm like, y'all, nobody's been here in like 6 years. All I'm asking is for you to show up and check the place so I don't have to kill somebody with my bare hands.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, that's what I'm checking for. There's a house that it physically teases me every time I drive by it. Like the mile up to it and then the mile like past it, I'm like, I gotta go in. I gotta go.
Just taunting you.
And they're like, yeah, no, as soon as you get permission from the homeowner. And I'm like, it's abandoned.
Yeah. Exactly. Who am I
No
supposed
one
to call?
cares anymore. But like when you find a place, urban legends, these crazy stories from all of the old timers and things like that, and you're like, I gotta go. That's one of these places, and it like hurts me, like it physically hurts to go. I can't go.
Yeah, and that's like that cemetery for us. Like we want that cemetery is also really, really known in Winnipeg to be haunted, and we know that. So there used to be this ghost hunt, like, and it's the same ghost hunt that I went on, that I learned about the table tipping thing. And she said, like, we've talked with her, but it's been hard for her to help us get into these spots. But that's one spot she used to always take people, and she said crazy stuff would happen. They'd have all sorts of tests and it would just go wild. But then they stopped getting permission to go in there. So that's another reason why we never ended up really trying to get permission, because we thought if she had an organized tour like every day, and if she lost permission, then there obviously must have been a reason. So then
there's no way that a couple like new paranormal investigators would just get permission randomly for a night.
Yeah,
to go
we've been shut down in so many different areas around where we live, just because it's around here it's just so taboo. Like nobody wants their location, even if it's known for being haunted, and they openly say it, they still won't let us come in there at night. Like they'll let us come in during the day and pay to be there, but they're not going to let us come in with gear or anything like that at night.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because there's places that I want to go, and some people still live there. Like there is a house that was built by some of the people that created this area, and the house was built back in like the early 1800s, and I want to go. Because I know the story of the family. No, this is a different one.
Oh, it's a different one? Okay.
There's so much history in this area. It's stupid. But it's still inhabited by descendants. And I have called and I've been like, hey, listen, I don't have to tell anybody where this is. We don't have to give a name. Nothing.
Yeah.
I just want to talk to the people that have passed on. And if they have a message for you, awesome. I will give you that message. I will let you hear it yourself. I was like, but I need to do this. Like the house that I'm trying to get into, the one that taunts me so much when I drive, was built back in 1890, and it was a KKK house. And the guy who built the home and lived in it kidnapped and, shall we say, did some unspeakable things to an African-American teenage girl. And when she got out, she told her dad. Her dad, being the nicest gentleman in the world, when he found out, took a shotgun and blew a hole in the dude's chest right there on his front porch. And if you go in and you happen to be anything other than white, or if you talk about how it's a great thing that we've got segregation going on, anything like that, you have a bad time.
Really?
Right.
But I have somebody here that wants to speak with you guys. And he's popped in. Big fan. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick from the Haunted.
Oh, hey, what's up, fellas?
How's it going, bro?
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Now it's a fanboy in front of everybody. Come on.
I was
You're doing it to
watching.
me.
Yeah, I was watching. I was just like, oh my god! I was like, guys, stop it! Stop it over here!
Over here. Now I'm the one on the other side doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because like when I started the haunted side, I never expected that. I never expected people to watch it and love it enough that they're like, I'm gonna go and do that. I'm gonna go and do that. I'm gonna start filming it. And I'm gonna like get stuff out there and everything like that. Because looking at your guys' content, I'm like, you guys have been doing it for longer than I have. What are you talking about? Like,
No way.
you guys are so good.
Man, yeah, I've watched like every episode, and that's kind of just it was the Clean Water Demon House coming back to it and just being like, we got to do this. Like, and he was like, I mean, we've been friends for so long, but I mean, there was really no other person who was gonna say yes to it, especially like I said with the area we live, and we're just like, yeah, got to go for it. But it was your guys' episodes that did kind of push us into getting the camera gear and actually just.
And then after, like, when we started making episodes, like just seeing how you like shot your B-roll and stuff like that, like, oh, those are such cool shots. We need to do like more of that. So
and it sucked. We sucked so bad. We're looking at this B-roll. We're like, there's no way we can do this. Like, we can't post this B-roll. It just looks so brutal. But then we just kept watching and then I started watching your episodes again and kind of in a different way. The first time it was always to be entertained. This time was kind of to study it and learn it a bit more.
Yeah, to deconstruct it and be like,
exactly.
Why does that work so well?
Exactly. It's like why did they choose to show this and that? And it's just I think you guys do an amazing job. And
oh, dude, thank you. I appreciate that, you guys. There's definitely a method to the madness. It's
that's what we've been learning.
Yeah, because I've gone out with teams and I just see them, they'll take like 30 minutes or like an hour to shoot B-roll. And they're just like, all right, cool. We got everything we need. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, sometimes we'll take 2 full days shooting B-roll.
Exactly.
And it's only for 30 seconds of the episode.
And lose a drone to a goose.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
The B-roll tells such a story though too. Like especially your guys' B-roll, like you can just see like especially if it's like an abandoned place or something, you can just see like it's how it is. You get it's especially as a viewer, they get to kind of experience what the layout is and everything before with not being able to be there. So it's kind of being able to map out the area too. And that's kind of what we learned from just the way you guys do it, just being able to see down hallways and certain things, and then to see those shots in the episode.
And I think what's really been working for us is like having those B-roll shots while we're telling the story, so people can see the place and they can hear us telling the story, and it kind of like brings the place to life and like gives them a reason to care.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
100%. Yeah, because that's the one thing. Like when I'm editing the episode, I've never been like, man, I shot too much B-roll here. I have too much. What am I going to do with all this B-roll? I've never said that. Like,
no, I think my favorite part of your videos is the random like slow-mo that goes into the commercials of just like the did you hear that face?
Yeah, I'm just like
Yeah, I remember being able to tell when there's a commercial popping up. You hear the sounds of the humming.
Yep. Well, dude, in the beginning, I wasn't doing that, and there were so many comments that were like, "Jesus Christ, that commercial popped up, scared the shit out of me." And so I was like, "I'm gonna do a little slow down, let people know." And this is funny because the people with YouTube Premium, they're sitting back like, "What the hell am I looking at?" So that's why I put that's why I put the Haunted Side logo over it, because people were starting to be like, I keep looking at that slow motion part and I don't see anything. I'm like, no, it was just that's where the commercial goes. Never mind. Yeah. All right.
That's because you pay not to see it.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fantastic, man, that you have inspired so many people to just get out and get going. Because
that's great.
When I got started, it was just me, a flashlight, and a cell phone. And I think I had a K2 meter.
Sounds
that
familiar.
was it. Yeah, but that's the thing, and I would even extend that out to anybody who's watching this later and is thinking about getting out into the paranormal. You don't need fancy equipment. If you've got a cell phone, a flashlight, That's all you need.
A pocket
You
plasma.
need the
There
pocket
you go.
plasma.
Dude, I took it out of the box too.
What is it?
It's like a little one of these.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
But if you do it like this, it'll go to like touch and sound, I guess.
That thing sounds so dirty, though.
I know, that's why I love it. That's why I love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it goes for like really anything. It's like if you want to do something, whether it be paranormal investigations or literally anything else, just start with what you have right now and kind of figure it out along the way. You're gonna get the stuff, and you're gonna get better, and you're gonna learn. So that's why we've had people like, you inspired us. We've had people messaging us on Instagram saying, "Hey, we want to start. What do I need? Like, what should I do?" And
Isn't that awesome?
Just start doing. Just start
Yeah.
doing.
Go,
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't need anything crazy. Just you have a cell phone. Yeah, like you said, you have a cell phone, you have a flashlight. Go.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
You need
Yep.
3 things. You need a cell phone, a flashlight, and the balls to get out and do it.
Exactly.
That's it.
You just
That's
need to get
it.
The hardest part is getting off the couch.
Exactly. And you don't have to go anywhere fancy either. I mean, like,
No.
I talk about how I love urban legends. I think every town that has train tracks has, the conductor that lost his head and is now searching for it on the train tracks. Go figure it out.
In our area, it's a guy that what happened again?
He was drunk.
Yeah,
and
because his wife left him.
Well,
or
he was
something.
Canadian, so
Yeah.
Of course, he was drinking beers, and then and he went out and I think he asked the bartender when the next train comes by, and it was like 3:11 or something like that. And then he's like, "Okay," he checked his watch, he went outside and killed himself. That's a very famous story around here.
And then apparently it was like at 3:11.
When
Like you see the light
the
on
classic,
the train track. Yeah,
the light with the headless guy, like exactly like you said. That is a classic one around train tracks. But
Yeah, but I'm saying, like if you've got an urban legend in your town, you don't know where to start with the urban legend. There's an element of truth behind every urban legend. You just have to figure out what it is.
I
And
say that
Keisha,
too
of course,
in our Fort Garry Hotel video, I pretty much said exactly that.
because Keisha, that's not what you need to get started. That's the number 1 rule: is don't be dumb.
that's a hard rule to follow.
Yeah.
I don't even
We're a
follow.
couple of guys that do a lot of dumb stuff. So
That's why.
don't make it work.
That's why in the beginning, Jason he used to just look at me and he's like, he's like, "What are you doing?"
I can't tell you how many times we've walked into a place that has supposedly had a malevolent spirit, and I've been like, "Listen, kick me, bite me, scratch me, set me on fire, whatever. Let's just party,
Exactly.
dude."
Set me on fire.
do anything.
Ay.
We have done that before we went like off camera, and we probably shouldn't. That's when Jordan's 2 got pulled. We said it a million times, like we were trying to be disrespectful, and now we don't think we're ever going to do that again.
Yeah, I think we know how to sort of ramp up the energy without having to do that.
Yeah,
just have me there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, come out to this place.
Yeah.
The ghost magnet is crazy. But I like what you guys were saying. Like, when you're wanting to start investigating, when you want to start posting videos, it's always that hardest video is always the first one, because you're always going to be like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to post this. I'm not sure about this. That's always the hardest ones to get going, is that very first one. But then after that, you find that it gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier. But even still, like to this day, when I'm uploading a new episode of The Haunted Side, like I immediately hate it. Like as it's uploading, I'm like, I hate it. I can't believe I'm uploading this shit. I have to go back. I need another location to redeem myself and like build a better episode and make it better.
That's the curse of being a creative in any field, though. You're always going to need a word.
And you said you do the editing for the videos?
I do everything. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I do the editing too, and I kind of feel the same. And that's where I get Jordan to come after and watch it. And even as soon as we upload it, we watch it together upstairs on the TV here. And I'm pretty much not even watching it. I'm wandering around my house because I've seen it so many times, and I just I feel like every time
it's visual cancer.
I'm worried to put it out, and same kind of thing. I just wandering around my house, and then Jordan's like, "Yeah, it's good. It's good. I like it."
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
There's been a very few things, especially in the last like month or so, where I've watched it before we posted it, and it was like, "Oh, we need to change this or this," but like really, he's on a roll with that, and he's killing it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, man.
it's phenomenal. You
He's
guys
like,
are putting out some
"Aw."
great stuff though. Yeah, like I mean, Patrick, obviously you're always putting out great stuff, but Jordan, Johnny, you guys are killing it, man. Like I love your style. Seriously, I love that it's like Paranormal meets The Office. And I love it.
Fair enough. How about Paranormal meets Trailer Park Boys?
Yeah. Oh
Yes,
yeah, that'd be
I
even
love that.
better. Yeah. That's a good cat right there. Like that'd be perfect.
Now I'm not gonna do my bubble accent right now.
Well, I think somebody in our comments said, I don't know if you guys seen the show, but they're like, you should go with Mr. Leahy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
he passed away like
Mr.
5
Leahy's
years ago.
dead, man.
Yeah, John
Yeah.
Dunsworth. Could try to get a
Go
spirit
for
box
Mr.
session
Leahy.
with him.
Yeah, there you go.
The Ovilus said shit hawk.
Oh, that would be epic.
I swear it's never said that before.
That would be badass. Who? It said Randers? This is outrageous.
Oh my
I love
god.
that show.
Oh god, we're descending into madness. But I love it. But guys, we're actually gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Man, Patrick, thank you for just showing up and being awesome and wanting to just like
You're not even gonna want to see what happens after this shuts off. I'm gonna be super excited. It's been awesome talking with you, man.
No, I appreciate it. No, I appreciate you guys having me. Let me come on real quick and ruin this live stream. Just drive the viewership
We forgive you.
down.
Oh, dude, you know, I love you to death, man, and it's fantastic to have you come in and pop in and say
we're gonna
hi.
be on another one too here pretty soon.
We
right?
are. Patrick's going to be on the show here very soon. I don't have the date in front of me, but you guys will find out because you know I always post stuff. But also a huge thank you to Johnny and Jordan for coming and hanging out from Paranormies. All of their links are down in the description below. You guys know how it works. Show that love, show that support. Also, for me and my stuff, you guys know where you can find me, Instagram and Facebook at Sparks of the Paranormal. And of course, right here on YouTube, but you know that because you're here right now. And then also, I've got merch and my PayPal links down in the description below. All of the money that goes through that helps to make this show better and helps us to get better gear so we can put out better and better investigations for you guys. I love you all. You're all just so fantastic. And whenever you're out there and you're showing love to the Paranormies and you're showing love to Patrick and his pocket plasma, make sure that whenever you come across pocket full of plasma, it's a whole new Spin Doctors song. It's a whole new Spin Doctors song. We love that. But whenever you're out there and you're following these guys, and it doesn't matter how big or how small somebody is in the paranormal community, show that love. Show that support. We're all out here for the same reason. We're trying to find answers. Exactly. Yeah. We all need help.
It might be mental, but we all need it.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But just because somebody does something different than you doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. What it means is it's an opportunity to learn and to get better. Take every day, learn something, and become better than you were yesterday. I love you all. God bless, and we will talk to you next time on Sparks of the Paranormal.